Thank you so much, Mary. It's lovely to be back here with matching shoes. I vividly remember the winter of 2022. As the cold here was drawing in, it was getting hot in Qatar, and things were starting to heat up a little bit for me too. I'd just taken on a new technical leadership role, looking to launch new sports experiences for the first Winter World Cup with BBC Sport. I remember walking past the desk of my tech lead, and they drew me into their computer and said, "How do you feel about the code we've got for testing the tournament bracket of all the different World Cup teams?" And that is when my heart started to sink, because the honest answer was, I do not know. I hadn't kept up with that part of the code base, and it did not feel good. We were about to launch to this thundering herd of tens of millions of practically foaming at the mouth football fans. But it wasn't just about one code review. As I'd taken on this new leadership role, I'd felt aspects of my engineering knowledge had started to atrophy. As a career changer from a business career, I feel that sort of thing particularly keenly. I just want to know the engineering answer. I don't know how you feel. Should I have known this answer offhand? I mean, who even am I at this point? Am I a leader, or am I an engineer? Am I technical enough? Am I of value? Well, how do each of you feel when you're in these sorts of situations? How would you prefer to introduce yourself? As a leader or as an engineer? Well, we are at lead dev, so why don't we see? Could you please put your hand up if you'd prefer to be introduced as a leader? And who would prefer to be introduced as an engineer instead? Quite an even split. The stakes of these sorts of questions, they're only being raised. What does it mean to be a leader in an age of layoffs? What does it mean to be an engineer in an age of AI? There is this truth that's been running in the background the whole time, this inherent tension. The best version of you as a leader means not meeting your full potential as an engineer. The best version of you as an engineer means not meeting your full potential as a leader. You cannot have it all. In my experience, though, the pain comes when we drift rather than when we decide, because it's actually not even about what direction you want to head in. It's about who decides. You have more agency than you think. How do you take your agency? In navigating these sorts of questions, I like to start with a map. And I created one as part of putting together a technical leadership initiative for 52 tech leads and 250 odd engineers. Hopefully, it's useful to you too. It begins with understanding that there are 4 different ways we can show up as technical leaders. People might look to you to be an engineer or an architect. They might look to you to lead people and teams, or to be an effective partner of the business or product. Now, showing this sort of map to people like yourselves, my experience is that you'll quickly think, I want to be 5 out of 5 on all of these at once. They all sound great. And that is a one-way trip to imposter syndrome and to burnout. So we grounded the technical leadership initiative in a self-assessment, where you choose where you currently are and where you'd like to be in future on a range of dimensions. Don't know if you recognize this one, but for one person, it might be that they have this historical strength as an engineer and a current limiting weakness around growing other people and teams. And for someone else, they might enjoy the big picture of architecture. And over time, they might even come to realize that the biggest picture of all is targeting that skill at business outcomes. Of course, in reality, no one is expecting you to be 5 out of 5 on everything, and this makes it look a little bit silly. There was a twist, though, when I launched this initiative for real. Maps and models and frameworks and tools are all great, right? But they don't actually help you change. The life hack to change is this. It was getting the technical leaders in a room together, sharing strategies. It's other people that help you change. Maybe it's part of the reason we're all in the room here today, for a bit of friendly peer pressure.
And if you're enjoying this, LeadDev has a ton more to offer.
I'm quite fond of the articles.
I feel like LeadDev blogs are my favorite, and it's been really, really useful to kind of create these more meaningful connections as well.
If there's something you're struggling with as an engineering leader, there's a pretty good chance that LeadDev has published something that addresses it.
So make sure you check out leaddev.com.
So after a launch event, we put together peer groups that meet once a month. For example, one peer group that I run had a tech lead in it called Sarah. She felt like she was getting squeezed out of some of the hands-on engineering experiences that she wanted. And I stayed silent and watched as the other tech leads helped her reform new strategies to recraft her role. And I watched as Sarah got happier and happier over the months. And the great irony here is that whilst I was running all of this, I was heading in the other direction to Sarah, and I was feeling that sinking feeling once again. I was taking on a role as director for our energy and utilities clients, so a leadership role focused on a sector rather than a deep expert engineering role. If I was putting together all these models and frameworks and peer groups, why was I still struggling with it? Thankfully, I have a video that captures my exact moment of realization. If I was a Muppet. Right about there. My realization was that I was this monkey. Bear with me as things get a little bit weird. Farmers in India were struggling with monkeys like these, maybe not quite like these, but like these, raiding their crops. But they had this ingenious solution. You take a coconut, you drill some holes in the outside of it, and you put a banana inside, and the monkey will reach in, grab that banana, and be trapped. Hopefully you can quickly realize that this trap is rubbish. The monkey can let go of the banana and run. But they don't. They hold onto it with a death grip until they are caught. And that was the realization. I was that monkey again, grasping on to the comfort of my engineering title and knowledge. Instead of more deeply understanding how data is changing everything in the energy industry, I was reading Slack threads about the intricacies of Go, a programming language I've never written code in. I don't think that it's just me, though. I think in our industry, we have this deep running, this understandable insecurity around that thought. Am I technical enough? Being technical used to mean punching punch cards. And I understand the excitement and discomfort as AI makes things feel like what that definition might be is shifting again. Again, for me as a career changer from a business career, I fought hard for that engineer identity. And I fought harder still to learn that I can redefine myself. I can acquire new skills, and you can, too. I've held many different career identities. Economist, business manager, starting right back at the beginning again, graduate software developer, tech lead, tech principal, now director. These ways we introduce ourselves, our role titles, these ideas of ourselves, of course, they matter in how we meet the world. But your current role title, it's just this temporary badge that you're wearing. It's not a position you have to defend. It's not you. So what idea of yourself are you holding on to maybe a little bit too tightly? How would you have preferred to answer that tech lead in the story at the start? Because there is no right answer, of course. This industry is still going to need expert leaders, and it's still going to need expert engineers. So yes, use the map I shared, or similar one. Absolutely, be part of or start a technical leadership peer group. It's just a life hack to changing quickly. And feel free to message me. I can send you resources to get you started really quickly with all that. Just copying the ones we use, basically. But most importantly, don't be as I was. That monkey, holding on to the current idea of myself, my technical identity, with a death grip. Because there is no perfect choice. No role is final. Each role I had chosen was this next experiment. And you get to choose too. For your reasons. Based on your values, because it's your story. So choose. Choose lightly. And then choose again. Thank you so much for your time.